Welcome back. Joining me now, John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Good to see you, sir.
Good to be here as always.
We have got some Tuesday night election results to dissect, and so before we start firing arrows up and down, I just kind of want to get your general take on what happened on Tuesday night. For Democrats, they are saying it was a tsunami in their favor. If you're a Republican, I'm not sure what you point to in terms of good news other than maybe some Democrats that you can demonize were elected.
My column for today, as this is being seen, Sunday, cites my two favorite words. I like the way they flow off the tongue, and I like what they mean. Those words are irrational exuberance. Do you remember when
Alan Greenspan, yes.
He warned in the early 00s about irrational exuberance. You remember what happened about 08?
Yeah.
And then I also used irrational exuberance in August of this year in writing about the coming football season for the Arkansas Razorbacks. So I think those are two good examples of how irrational exuberance can be applied. It was a thorough tail kicking by the Democrats. It was an overperformance by them. It was on their territory. They were holding serve in blue states. But they went from 51, beating Trump with 51 in New Jersey and Virginia in last November, 51% in the presidential race, to 56 and 57% margins on Tuesday in the governor's races. And it means that Trump is in decline. Mm-hmm. But that also means that we're continuing the same cycle that we've had since largely the 1970s, in that whoever the new president is, he's going to lose ground. His party's going to lose ground in these first-year elections. It's because we're in a pattern of selecting the lesser of evils in our presidential races. And then people realize the lesser of evils is still evil. I don't like what he's doing, and he overplaying his hand. So it's that same cycle, but it's a little more pronounced, a little more emphatic, and then it's made more interesting by the bicoastal situation of a Democratic Socialist mayor in New York City and Newsom getting his big California redistricting by 63%.
It was big, and a big record turnout in the process.
So I don't know what it all means, because they're holding serve by margins. It means Trump is declining. Trump is out of favor. He's losing ground. But the Democrats have got to worry about their two key people now being Newsom and a Democratic Socialist.
Yeah.
What does that do? What does that do to your Andy Beshears, your Josh Shapiro's, this more centrist, pragmatic? What does it do to getting votes where you're going to have them, which is in this great red vast of rural mid-America? Nonetheless, people say I'm too negative to the Democrats, I'm too harsh, and they're going to say that about this. I'm just warning. Alan Greenspan said it. I said it about football. You know, how you feel, irrational exuberance. In the fourth quarter against Mississippi State, did you realize your exuberance had been irrational? Yes. So that's my general take on the whole thing.
By the expletive that came out of my mouth when Mississippi State made that touchdown, shedding 3 tacklers to win the game. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I lost my irrational exuberance at that point in time.
Yeah, when you read preseason that the Razorback quarterback in a scrimmage completed 24 of 28 passes, and you're ready to say, great. Remember who he completed them against, the Razorback pass defense. So
this though, he has done well.
He's an excellent quarterback. Yeah. He's not the problem.
I give him an arrow up.
And let's give the Democrats, of course, an arrow up.
Okay.
Good night. I don't deny it. It was they're in the first year elections, the first year after the presidency, those few elections tend to signal something for the midterms.
Yep.
But in 3 years, when we got two specific people competing, we're back to voting usually for the lesser of two evils, and the first year returns are long forgotten.
Yep.
That's the pattern that people need to keep in mind.
I want to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and then we'll fire some arrows on some specific folks. I will say this, though, it's this fickleness with the voting public that they pick something because they don't like their other choice, as you said, lesser two evils, and then they decide they don't like what they picked and they go back and pick
That's exactly
something else. And this
right.
is just this ping pong back and forth.
Some
is what
people
we're
call
in.
that the definition of insanity.
All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. John Brummett's our guest. We're back with more right after this. All right, welcome back. We're with John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Let's fire some arrows.
All right.
I think these are going to be pretty easy ones for you. President Trump, arrow up, arrow down.
It's quite down. Not a good time for him, and he's not taking it well. The number of exclamation points and capital letters in his what's his truth
social posts, yes.
Tell you that he's not happy, and he doesn't need to be happy. I mean, remember Obama in a midterm said that was quite a shellacking. This was a smaller shellacking, but more pronounced within its size.
Yeah.
It was about him. The better returns in Virginia and New Jersey for Democrats coincided with high negative ratings on Trump, and people saying they were largely voting in repudiation of Trump. So there's no doubt about what this was about for him.
What arrow would you give to Republicans in Congress? We're more than a month into this shutdown now. I think the election results were a play out in part of what's happening in Congress. What do you give the Republican-led Congress right now?
That's down also. People are, as it goes on, the shutdown, it looks sillier, it looks more irresponsible, and the pressure builds, okay, do something. And they're not meeting, and they're not intending to meet. The plan is, let's if the Democrats want to carry this all the way out, then okay, carry it out. And the Republicans, they're thinking, we'll just carry out this health care thing, because we never believed in Obamacare much in the first place, and now you've stepped up, and you can let us blame you because you're the ones who shut down the government, and now you won't give in. I think that's, on the Republican side, a decent, if cynical, strategy, but right now the polls show most people blame the Republicans for this shutdown, and it is getting to the point. You had an excellent column with some former Asa Hutchinson aide who was
David Olive.
You're surprised I read that,
yes.
aren't you?
I'm very impressed.
And he's saying, look for November 21 when they got to have a new spending resolution. And so I think something's got to give this month.
Yeah.
And the healthcare stuff is now. I got a Medicare supplemental policy renewal that went up quite a bit, and that's not nearly what's happening to
well, see, I think that's the Democrats' hedge has been this messaging on health insurance has been, basically what they have kind of hinged their message on, and now those insurance premiums are starting to hit. I mean, to me, for the Democrats, I'm like, they held out long enough that this message is going to be in their favor if I look at public opinion.
You're asking me about whether the Democrats get an arrow up?
Did the Democrats get an arrow up or arrow down?
I think they get an arrow up, but I recommend that they stay away from irrational exuberance about their arrow up. Those arrows
reading too much into the election results.
There's an end game here. I don't know what it is. And if they don't get something, Democrats, something, then they sort of led with their chin, and they were rope-a-doped, or they rope-a-doped themselves. But if this pressure builds, and Trump has got to say, end this thing, I'm tired of it, and Johnson and the Senate Majority Leader have to give ground. They say, okay, let's sit down and give you something. Then it's good. But if they don't get anything substantive, and they say, okay, we'll now negotiate, and this thing drags on, I don't know. I mean, I had a column yesterday saying they've been rope-a-doped on this. They're not going to get anything concrete. And today I'm reading about the negotiations and the mood in Congress. And it's so often the case with your expert commentators. You've got to be flexible one day to the next as to what your wisdom is. So it's the end game. How does it end? And I don't know.
We've got a minute left.
Right.
I want to fire an arrow on Gavin Newsom. He's been the anti-Trump spoiler for months now. He's been playing the same Trump game, and his push to do this redistricting through the electoral process versus just heavy-handed, legislative, like we've seen in some other states. it tended to play out. Where do you put him in terms of a national figure now? Gavin Newsom at an arrow.
I know. His arrow's up. His arrow is well up. But I think the Democrats are now going to have to. It looks like their two goalposts are bicoastal. It's a leftist socialist movement in New York, or at least a more progressive economic movement in New York, and it's Newsom's. Let's call him names. Let's ridicule him, and we just got 63% of our voters to say yes, redraw our districts, and we got more we can redraw than he.
Yeah.
So it's those two, which leaves out what I want, which is an Andy Beshear or a Josh Shapiro or a Middle America pragmatic governor. So. But your question was specifically to Newsom.
Yep.
He may be the front runner right now for the Democratic.
There's still Abigail Spanberger out there too. So moderate, middle of the road, one Virginia, big margin.
Okay.
He's John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Thank you, my friend.
Great fun.
Appreciate you. Back to wrap up after this.